Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News of the Berkshires and beyond. As summer is approaching, the arts and entertainment events happening locally are heating up. On this episode, besides the usual events like Mass Mocha, I will be discussing Chesterwood in Stockbridge and discussing events at Hancock Shaker Village. Plus, I'll be reviewing the history of a college in Westfield, reviewing a film that's near and dear to my heart, and visiting a road trip to an interesting museum that's outside of the viewing area. First, it's time for this episode's trivia question. This episode's question is, what animal is most famous at the Stanley Park in Westfield? Now, for this episode's local headlines. First up is our weekly visit to Mass Mocha. This episode focuses on a new art exhibit called Chopped. This is commissioned by Mass Mocha and produced by Patrick Reach Out Cole. Ariel Twist's Chopped is a sound work informed by notions of erasure, disembodiment, hauntings, and the power of absence and ancestral presence. Twist conceived the sound installation in increasing discrimination and violence suffered by trans and gender non-conforming people, particularly in America. Chopped is both a manifesto and a prayer, authored and performed by Twist and a small number of trans collaborators. In the absence of her physical presence, Twist offers viewers the power of her voice, her spirit, and a braided lock of her hair. This exhibit will be highlighted on May 23rd. This is the first of 2 times it will be held this year. For more information, visit the website shown here. Up next, we are going to the Williams College Museum of Art for an update. WCMA has invited 3 artists, Kelly Akashi, Hugh Hayden, and Marie Watt, to submit proposals for a newly commissioned artwork to be installed on the grounds of Williams College Museum of Art's new building. Each artist visited campus this fall to share their work in a public artist talk. Following the artists' visits and the submission of proposals earlier this year, one artist and design will be chosen. The selected artist will return to campus in the spring to meet with the campus community and work towards the final concept and design, with the commissioned artwork to be installed in the East Meadow facing towards campus in late 2027. The new commission builds on a long tradition at WCMA and Williams College of integrating artwork into campus life. Works of art from WCMA's collection can be found all across campus. These sculptures and installations choreograph unexpected and informal encounters with art into the daily lives of students, residents, and visitors. For more information on this and any other Williams College Museum of Art exhibits, visit the website shown here. Next, we will be going to the Hancock Shaker Village for their annual Baby Animals Festival. Meet the newest farm animals: lambs, piglets, calves, chicks, and baby goats, and enjoy events and activities throughout the village. From daily talks about the farm and the Shakers, to craft demonstrations, to walks along the farm and forest trail. Hop aboard the wagon hayride and take your hour-long tour and get all the dirt about the farm from the farmers themselves. Learn about the history of the Shaker Village and farm, including little-known facts and secrets, and pet the newest and cutest members of our family. This tour will take you to see the animals in the round stone barn, dairy L, and barnyard, where you'll meet this year's calves, lambs, baby goats, piglets, and chicks. After the tour, you are welcome to revisit the barn and explore the rest of the village, which opens to the general public at 11 a.m. Hancock Shaker Village is located at 1843 West Housatonic Street in Pittsfield. To allow enough time for your visit, please arrive at the village between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can pre-purchase general admission tickets or buy them when you arrive. Up next, we are going to be visiting Wahconah Park in Pittsfield for an important update on the current stadium. Wahconah Park's 75-year-old grandstand was deemed unsafe in 2022, and planners have determined that starting from square one is the best option. A $15 million rebuild is on the table. Demolition is expected to begin soon, and the city planned the Farewell to the Grandstand event to celebrate its past and look forward to the future. In the early 1900s, Wahconah Park went from concept on paper to construction. The grandstand was built between the 1949 and 1950 seasons. It was designed to seat about 2,000 fans. Fast forward a few decades later, in 2005, Wahconah Park was listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Pittsfield and its longtime summer collegiate baseball team, the Pittsfield Suns, have signed a major negotiating rights agreement, solidifying that the two will work together when the historic ballpark is renovated. Earlier this month, an official farewell was held in Pittsfield. Make sure to stay tuned to WWHEN for more information on this story. WWHEN thanks iBerkshires.com for information on this story. Speaking of Pittsfield, our next story takes us to Berkshire Community College, where they have announced a new president. Berkshire Community College announced that the Massachusetts Board of Higher Education has formally voted to approve the appointment of Dr. Hara Charlier, apologies for any mispronunciation, as the college's next president. The vote follows the recent unanimous recommendation by the BCC Board of Trustees and marks the final step in the college's presidential search process. Dr. Hara Charlier will officially assume the role on July 1st of this year. Dr. Charlier currently serves as president of Central Lakes College in Minnesota and was selected following a comprehensive national search process guided by campus and community input. She is replacing Dr. Ellen Kennedy, who is retiring after being at the college for almost 16 years. Again, WWHEN thanks iBerkshires.com for information on this story. Up next, we are going to be visiting Chesterwood in Stockbridge. Chesterwood is the former summer estate of Daniel Chester French, famed sculptor of the Minuteman statue in Concord, Massachusetts, and the seated Abraham Lincoln for the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Owned and operated by the National Trust for Historic Preservation, Chesterwood is located in Stockbridge with multiple buildings set within 122 acres. The site includes French's studio, the recently restored Colonial Revival residence, and the gardens and woodlands walks that he designed. The residence retains original antiques and decorative objects. French's works are featured prominently throughout the property, alongside paintings and sculptures by other prominent artists. Chesterwood's vast collection of objects spans a wide range of styles, periods, sizes, and media. The collection forms an encyclopedic array of Daniel Chester French's biography, from the monumental marble Andromeda dominating the studio to diminutive plaster maquettes and studies that line the workroom walls, from an heirloom colonial-era sofa in the residence parlor to modern photographs, drawings, and abstract sculpture. Chesterwood is located at 4 Williamsville Road in Stockbridge. It is open daily except Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit the website shown here. For our road trip portion of this show, we are actually going to be visiting 2 places this episode. One of the places is located in the heart of western Massachusetts, while the other is a little farther in western New York, but is worth the trip. For our first stop, we'll be going to Westfield on a road trip to Stanley Park. This is a park similar to Look Park in Northampton, which I've mentioned here in the past. Stanley Park was founded by Frank Stanley Beveridge in 1949. Having traveled from Pembroke Shores near Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada, Frank arrived at Mount Ermyn School in Northfield, Mass, with only a quarter, a dime, and one Canadian dollar bill. In 1949, Stanley put his money into land that would eventually become Stanley Park. Stanley Park consists of nearly 300 plus acres of trails, woods, picnic areas, recreational facilities, and gardens, which include the Rose and Flower Garden, Asian Garden, a rhododendron display garden, the Arboretum, Herb Garden, and Woodland Wildflower Garden. Additionally, there is the Frank Stanley Beveridge Wildlife Sanctuary, the Carleon Tower, and a duck pond, with the colonial-era village that includes an orchard, mill and water wheel, an old town meeting house, covered bridge, carriage shed, blacksmith shop, and arched bridges, all with a backdrop of flowering azaleas. A popular event there is the Walk Around the Park. According to the Stanley Park website, quote, "As we welcome the spring, we will once again be holding our Walk Around the Park. The walks will be held on Thursday mornings from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. These walking sessions are part of Stanley Park's health initiative to provide a beautiful environment in which to get some exercise while meeting the staff and learning a little history about the various sites around the park. All abilities are welcome, and group ability level will determine the walk route. Possible routes will be within the main areas of the park and or the wildlife sanctuary. Walking shoes are recommended." Stanley Park is located at 400 Western Ave in Westfield. For more information, visit the website shown here or call 413-568-9312. Stanley Park also supplies the answer to this episode's trivia question. As a reminder, this episode's question was, what animal is most famous at the Stanley Park in Westfield? The answer is black squirrels. According to Stanley Park's website, quote, "A Westfield phenomenon since the 1940s, the black squirrels now populate most areas of the city and have moved into surrounding communities. Because they are not indigenous to Western Massachusetts, more so in Canada, the presence of the squirrels has led to a rather large collection of stories and tall tales as to how they got here, when, and perhaps most important, why. The truth is this: they were a gift given to Frank Stanley Beveridge from Stanley Home Production sales managers Hubert L. Worrell and Alvaro L. Elzerman. In 1948, Worrell and Elzerman brought the squirrels from Michigan to Westfield, where they were going to attend a conference in Westfield at Stan Home Inc., or known at that time as Stanley Home Productions. The squirrels found their new surroundings and their freedom to their liking, and soon were an established tenant of Westfield. Now, black squirrels are to be found all over the Pioneer Valley and are numerous, especially in the park, end quote. For our next road trip story, we are going to be visiting Rochester, New York, to visit the Strong Museum of Play. On the surface, this museum may look to be just for kids or young people, but there is a lot for all ages. I had a smile on my face the entire time I was there, especially when I was at the Toy and Video Game Hall of Fame portions. First, some history about the museum. Margaret Woodbury Strong, a prolific collector of everyday objects, especially dolls and toys, founded the Strong in 1968 under the name Margaret Woodbury Strong Museum of Fascination. Before she died in 1969, she bequeathed her considerable estate to help support the museum. And 13 years later, it opened its current facility in a new 156,000 square foot building on 13.5 acres in downtown Rochester. Nearly all the things Miss Strong collected were mass-produced, so initially the museum used them to examine the ways in which industrialization has changed everyday life. Within a few years, this focus evolved into an examination of the consequences of progress, the rise of the middle class, and expressions of identity. Today, however, where the museum is really strong, no pun intended, is in its interactivity. There are tons of touchscreens for kids, teenagers, and adults. One can have a marble race, learn about the history of Sesame Street. Kids can shop at a mock Wegmans grocery store. The Wegmans is especially big in Western New York. Learn about famed children's literature, ranging from the Berenstain Bears to Harry Potter, and more. The Strong Museum is also home to the Toy Hall of Fame and Video Game Hall of Fame. Both of these highlight the best of toys and video games. The Toy Museum Hall of Fame was introduced in 2002 when it moved from Oregon to its current home. And the Video Game Hall of Fame was introduced in 2015. One can learn about the inductees, play with copies of the games, and more. And there are also tons of pinball games. The Strong Museum of Play is about a 4-hour drive from Pittsfield. The museum opens at 10 a.m. For more information, visit the website shown here. It's now time for this episode's film portion of WWHEN. This episode, we'll be discussing RT's favorite films. This particular one is near and dear to my heart because it was the first ever film I reviewed when I was in college. 42. 42 tells the true story of Jackie Robinson, who was the first African American to play in modern baseball. The film highlights the highs and lows of his rookie season in 1947, the racism he faced from opponents, the media, and even his own teammates, and the determination he had to change not just baseball in general, but the world. Before getting into why I like this movie, I'm going to discuss why this movie is important to me. I saw 42 when it first came out in theaters in 2013. During that time, I had just started a film blog on Facebook, and I was looking for a movie to review. 42 was that first movie. As you know, I'm a huge sports fan, so this movie was a huge magnet for me. It was a big hit at the box office and with the public. It has the rare honor of receiving an A+ film score, which is crowd-based and indicates it's a crowd-pleasing movie. So why do I love this movie? This was the first movie the public saw the late Chadwick Boseman in. He does an amazing job as Robinson, showing a man of decency, talent, and determination. Harrison Ford is also strong as Branch Rickey, the Dodgers general manager who gave him the biggest opportunity in the world. The baseball scenes are expertly filmed, and the movie leaves you cheering. Overall, 42 is a great movie for baseball audiences, but also those who want a satisfying story. That ends this episode of Wehry History and Entertainment News in the Berkshires and beyond. If you would like to watch this or any other WWHEN episode again, you can visit PCTV's website shown here or my YouTube page at RT Wehry. And I want to thank CTSB TV and NBCTC for showing my show on their public access station. Thank you.